Hi, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about all the books that I plan to read in the month of February. So I'm taking part in two readathons this month. I'm taking part in Blackathon, which is hosted by Jessie over at Bowties and Books, and I'm taking part in the Blacklit Challenge, which is hosted by Seiji at the Artisan Geek. I'll leave all of their details and announcement videos down below so you can check them out if you'd like to. So the theme of Blackathon this year is travel or travellers, and the theme of the Blacklit Challenge is time and place. And so I think those kind of go quite well together, and you'll probably see a little bit of overlap in my TBRs for both readathons. But I'll start by talking about Blackathon just because there are more defined prompts for that readathon. I am on Team Contemporary, Literary and Non-Fiction, which is headed up by Ashley over at Bookish Realm. I would definitely recommend you check out Ashley's channel. She's one of my favourite booktubers, so I was super excited to see she'll be hosting this sort of leg of the readathon. I'll run through the prompts and I'll tell you what I'll be reading for each of them. Prompt number 1 is a story that spans one character's lifetime or an intergenerational story. And I have two options for this one, as I do for all of the Blackathon prompts. The first book that I have is Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. And I also have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Both of these are 4 and 5 star predictions for me, so I'm really excited to be able to fit them into this readathon. Prompt number 2 is about queer characters who embark on a journey together, whether that be physically or emotionally. And for this one, I have gone for Red Dust Road by Jackie Kay. This is actually non-fiction, but it's about Jackie Kay going to find out who her biological parents are. So Jackie Kay is adopted into a Scottish family, and she goes and tries to trace her family lineage. I want to read that for a long time, and I hope that I can kind of nudge it into this one. Failing that, I also have Memorial by Brian Washington, and this is about a gay couple who go on an emotional journey in terms of their relationship, and it follows that relationship. It seems like a nice kind of slow-paced read, and I've heard that it's quite refreshing, so I'm looking forward to reading that. For prompt number 3, we have a disabled character who embarks on a journey or a piece of writing written by a disabled author. And for this one, I have actually two options again. I have Bingo Love by T. Franklin. This is about a lesbian relationship, and they become involved as teenagers, and then it charts their life as they get older, how they reconnect and things like this. This is actually a reread for me. I read this in July last year and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to rereading it. And the second book I have is LaGuardia by Nnedi Okorafor, and this is a story, I believe, about immigration. And if you know me, you know I love stories about immigration and migration in general. And so I'm really looking forward to this one. And then of course we have the group read, and that is The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives, and I've been wanting to read this for about 2 or 3 years, so I was delighted to see it as our group read, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's all for Blackathon. In terms of Blacklit Challenge, how that works is it's a points-based system, and you have to gain 4 points to complete the challenge. And you can gain points based on country, so if you read one book from America, one book from Brazil, one book from France, that's 3 points. And you can also gain points based on things like, is it non-fiction, is it poetry, is it written by an LGBT or disabled author, etc, etc. And I believe by my choices for Blackathon that I've actually already gained my 4 points, but I still have a whole heap of other suggestions that I would potentially like to read, if not this next month, then at some point soon, and so I thought I would just include them and kind of hype them up because I've got so many books to read that I'm excited about. So I'll start with the 5 that I'm most excited about. First of all, I have James Baldwin, Sunny's Blues. This is a very teeny tiny, look, it's so cute, so tiny collection of short stories, and I've been really enjoying short stories recently, and I have been really enjoying James Baldwin's writing, so this is like the perfect combination for me, and I'm just really looking forward to that. I also have a photo essay by Toni Morrison called Remember, and this is about school integration in America, and it's basically a collection of photographs from this period in history, and you can even see the cover photo is quite like startling. The pictures, they're quite kind of emotive imagery, and so I think I've been saving this for US Black History Month, and so I think this will be a perfect time to read this. I also have Half-Blood Blues by Essie Adujian, And this is an author who wrote Washington Black, which I read last year as part of my International Dublin Literature Award readathon, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I just wanted to read more from the author, and so this is a backlist title, which I'm really excited to read. It's set in 1940s Germany, and it's about a black main character who's navigating that period in time in history, so I'm really looking forward to that. I also have How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. I read Emergency Skin, which is a short story by N.K. Jemisin last year, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And it was the first kind of introduction I'd had to fantasy that I had thought, yeah, this is something I could really get into. And so I thought I would read more from N.K. Jemisin. But I was quite intimidated going into like a longer series or a chunky novel. And so this is a short story collection, which I think will be a really nice introduction to more of N.K. Jemisin's writing. And then when I was in the library the other day, I spotted a poetry collection by Danye Smith, and it's called Don't Call Us Dead. And I believe this is about being queer and black in America, and I believe it's also about being HIV positive. And I think it's just going to be a really brilliant collection, probably unlike anything else I've read. Roxane Gay writes about the collection. This book is poetry as fierce fire. There is such intelligence and fervour in these poems about black men and their imperiled bodies, gay men and their impassioned bodies, and what it means to be HIV positive, and so much more. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be brilliant. And I read a little snippet because I think poetry can kind of go either way. Sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't get on with the style. But I read a little poem from within it and I really liked it. So looking forward to that. And those are the books that I would say I'm most excited about. I also have a book out from my e-library catalogue called Felon, and that's another collection of poetry about incarceration and about being considered a convicted person in America and what that's like. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think that'd be brilliant. I also have a whole heap of other books I'm really excited to read. I have 2 more James Baldwins. I have If Beale Street Could Talk, and I have Going to Meet the Man. Going to Meet the Man are short stories, and If Beale Street Could Talk is a full-blown novel. So I'm just looking forward to reading those. If not this month, then definitely soon. I've been really enjoying James Baldwin's writing recently, and I've been kind of slowly working my way through all of his published works. So that's just more of that. I also have another classic, and that's Sula by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is one of the writers that I want to read from this year, and I wanted to try one of her novels. And so this is about 2 sisters in America who both choose different paths in life, and then it's about them kind of coming to terms with the decisions they've made, and kind of reconciling their 2 lives, how they differ, etc. And I think it's just going to be really brilliant. Okay, apologies, I had some technical difficulties there, so I've changed angle. But the final ones that I want to talk to you about, I have a short story collection by Chinelo Okparanta, and it's called Happiness Like Water. This is the author who wrote Under the Udala Trees, which is a novel I'd really like to read, but I wanted to first of all sample their work, and so I thought this short story collection would be a really good way of doing that. I don't know a lot about this apart from that it is a collection of stories that are all about Nigerian life, and I think they centre women in the narratives, so I think that'll be really nice. I also have a Zadie Smith out from the library, and I picked up The Autograph Man, which is about a young guy who becomes interested in fame and starts to collect autographs, and it's as he grows older how that kind of grows into a bit of an obsession, and he travels, I believe, in the book. And so I think it'll be really interesting. I think it's meant to be quite an interesting portrayal of our obsession with fame and our obsession with people who are in positions of kind of popularity and fandom. So I guess it will be quite interesting. I've never heard people talk about this one. Most often people talk about Zadie Smith's White Teeth. So if you've read this and you have any thoughts or feelings about it, I would love to hear what you think, especially, to be honest, about any of these books. If you think they're fantastic or whatever, I'd love to hear it. And then I have 2 more like light-hearted reads. The first of which is The Woman Next Door by Yewande Omatoso. This is about 2 neighbouring women who have a kind of rivalry with each other,
I believe they're a little bit older, either middle-aged or retired women. They have this rivalry, and I think they form like a kind of friendship, but I'm not totally sure about that. But I'm really looking forward to just like a sort of light-hearted. It's considered like witty, playful, charming, so that just sounds delightful to me. And finally, we have a kind of cozy mystery novel, and that is A Deadly Inside Scoop by Abby Collette. This is about a young woman who takes over her parents' ice cream parlour, and it's about her kind of coming to terms with being a business owner and all the responsibility that comes with that. But then also outside one day, a dead body is found, and there's like all the mystery there. So I think this is going to be quite fun and quite kind of light-hearted. I'm hoping. I hope it's not too heavy. I mean, all the pink on the cover makes me think it's going to be quite light-hearted. So let's hope that pulls through. So yeah, that's really all the books I have laid out for next month. I'm a total mood reader, so having options really works for me, and I'm excited to get to like as many of these books as I possibly can. It's going to be a good reading month, I think. I'll leave all the information below for both Blackathon and the Blacklit Challenge. Do check that out and check out the channels of those creators. And yeah, do let me know what you plan to read in February, if you're planning on taking part in any readathons or anything like that. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.